Matt Costa, a real trooper. Yesterday, afflicted with food poisoning.
What?
Considered not playing in the event. Saw him this morning. Didn't look great, but he said he was past the worst of it. He had he asked the judge, "Can I play near the bathroom in case, you know, everything's been good so far?" 4-1. He already looks like he's got more color back in his complexion, a little bit more energetic. I think he's past the worst of it.
I can appreciate that. Can I play near somewhere where I can, you know?
If I need to, if I
need to throw up.
I need to throw up.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is. If I need to throw up, can I play somewhere where I can do that? The answer is yes. He's 4-1. Jeff Hoogland 4-1 as well, as we are underway here in round number 6 from Las Vegas.
But he was in rough shape this morning.
Hard not to be, really.
Yeah, it was not a good scene. I was surprised.
Food poisoning does not mess around, man.
I saw him stumble out of the taxi cab this morning, and I just really surprised he was playing. But like I said, he looks good. Looks like he's past the worst of it.
Both players are just a couple of lands to start. I think it'll be kind of a slow one here. I know Modern a pretty fast format, and Costa could just combo Jeff pretty quickly, of course. But you also do wonder if Costa knows what Jeff is playing. And we talked about this a little bit when Jeff played against Vidianto Wajaya in round number 3. Vidianto didn't really know what Jeff was up to because black-white controls a deck that you see in this particular format. And a Secure the Waste is actually what helped Jeff win in that match. And obviously, Vidi didn't see that coming. He had to re-sideboard for game number 3. Jeff was able to win game number 3, and now he's on to a great start here at 4-1. We'll see if Costa knows what Jeff's up against, because at least here, if you follow Jeff a little bit, you know that he's been playing fairies for a little while.
And it wouldn't really surprise me to see Costa play this pretty aggressively. A lot of the blue decks in this format, they don't have a lot in the way of hard permission. Mana Leak is not a card you see a ton of. It's just remands and cryptic commands. So there is an incentive for Costa to just shove, because if the response is remand, that's fine. Go for it again next turn.
Deceiver Exarch's going to come in. It's going to tap down that Creeping Tar Pit. Now Costa's going to just attack for 1 and pass the turn back over to Hoogland. Hoogland will draw a card, has a Lightning Bolt in hand. We'll see if he has land number 4. The answer is yes there in Polluted Delta. Costa, on the end step, is going to activate the Desolate Lighthouse.
And Desolate Lighthouse, very important in these blue mirrors if both players are just sitting on their heels the whole game, because Costa could eventually sculpt a hand with the ability to counter and go off in the same turn.
Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster Mage's Lightning Bolt, a common Modern play, is going to take care of that Deceiver Exarch. For Costa, he'll play a Serum Vision. He'll draw a card, and now he'll scry 2. We'll see what he wants to do with those top 2 cards. 1 on top, 1 on bottom. We'll split the difference here. Stomping Ground in Matt's hand right now as well. He'll play a copy of Sulphur Falls.
What works to Costa's advantage in this matchup, though, is that Jeff doesn't really threaten to do a whole lot if Costa puts the shields down. He can sneak a Vendilion Click or a Scion of Ona into play. None of these end the game. So Costa can kind of spend some time sculpting his hand. Jeff has to be on the defensive the whole time because he can just die. And the same is not true on the other side of the table.
There's a Lighthouse activation, discarding a Stomping Ground. We're going to head back Costa's way now. It's a Sulphur Falls. Pass the turn back over to Hoogland. Hoogland will draw a card. Scalding Tarn Bash for 2 more. That'll work. Costa going to go down to 15. Let's see what's next here for Matt. It'll be a Lighthouse activation again. He's just trying to sculpt towards a perfect hand because, as you mentioned, he's not really underneath that much pressure.
Yeah. And Hoogland only threatens to do so much if Costa pushes shields down.
An island here for Jeff. And now he'll play a copy of Scion of Una. So if Costa didn't know what Jeff was up to before, he might have an idea now. There's a Remand. That'll bring the Scion back to the grip. Been a little while since we've seen the Fairy Soldier here on the battlefield.
And we still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it used to cause a lot of nightmares for players. Here's an attack for 2. It's a Water Rigger that's going to enter the battlefield tapped. Now Costa going to play a Vendilion Click. Great way to break serve in these type of matchups.
And this is really bad news for Jeff, because if he's only sitting on 1 counter spell, this is an opportunity for Costa to shove through the combo.
Burst Lightning going to go after that Vendilion Click. with the targeting on the stack. Costa might fight over this a little bit here. So there's a negate. Here's a Snapcaster Mage. Look at all this fighting on the end step. Go to target Burst Lightning. Flash it back. The hand, 2 Sign-of-Unas.
I mean, this is the coast. The coast is clear for Costa to combo out, and he's been sitting on Desolate Lighthouse here for a while. I don't know exactly what his hand looks like, but Costa's got to be happy to see those cards.
He'll just pass the turn back. Hoogland will draw 2 Sign-of-Unas in hand. Here come the beatdowns. What kind of response does Matt Costa have here? He'll just take the damage for now. He's going to fall down to 9, it appears. Fairy Conclave. Pass the turn back. Hoogland, 2 Sign-of-Unas. So if you're Matt, you know exactly what he's working with. For now, Costa's going to activate. There's Sign-of-Una number 1. That's going to resolve.
I believe Costa found Desolate Lighthouse. Or excuse me, Splinter Twin off of his Desolate Lighthouse with Pestermite in hand. So just got to fade one more turn here and go for the kill.
Yep.
Keep in mind, Hoogland has access to a lot of creature lands too, Fairy Conclave and Creeping Tar Pit down there.
And Jeff going to shove in here for 5 past the turn back. I believe he may have drawn Cryptic Command for the turn. This is an attempted Pestermite. Will that work? Jeff taking a long look at Sign-of-Una and Cryptic Command in hand. Looks like he'll cast the Scion. See if we can get Matt to make a move. Matt doesn't care about that, though. He'll draw a card. Knows he's got to play around one thing at this point. There's a second Lighthouse. This is a Splinter Twin. That's a Cryptic Command. Costa with a Snapcaster Mage. That'll be able to target a counterspell in the graveyard and Spell Pierce, and that's going to do it. Matt Costa's going to win game number 1 here against Jeff Hoogland. Blue-Red Twin up a game over Grixis Fairies.
I'm a little surprised there that Jeff decided to take that opportunity to put the Scion into play, because it doesn't feel, at that spot, his board's much better than Costa's. It's going to be Splinter Twin or bust for Costa on that turn. And getting the Scion into play meant that certain other cards, like Spell Pierce, became online for Costa.
We'll take a look at the sideboards here for both players, and we'll start with Jeff Hoogland, who with his Grixis Fairies deck, it looks a little bit innovative. So, I've got 2 Engineered Explosives, 2 Spell Skites, 2 Magma Sprays, a Flash Freeze, 2 Negates, a Go for the Throat, a Dreadbore, a Murderous Cut, a Counterflux, and then 2 copies of Thoughtseize.
All the good instant speed interaction here will be coming in for Hoogland. I think the Counterflux, the Murderous Cut, the Go for the Throat, 2 copies of Negate are all pretty big additions, as is 2 copies of Thoughtseize and 2 copies of Spellskite. Surprising to see no copies of Bitter Blossom in Hoogland's sideboard. To me, that's among the best cards you can have in your sideboard against Grixis decks, especially if you're leveraging the Fairies advantage somehow, and Jeff obviously has that in spades.
On the other side of things here for Costa, 3 Ancient Grudge, 2 Keranos Goddess Storms, 2 Blood Moons, a Pyroclasm, Grim Lavamancer, Anger of the Gods, Teferi, Mage of Zalfir, a Counterflux, a Rending Volley, and a Jace Architect of Thought.
There's a lot of stuff to be coming in here for these kind of blue battles. The Jace, the Rending Volley, the Counterflux, and the Teferi are all excellent. Given the creatures that Hoogland showed, I think the Grim Lavamancer will be coming in as well. And based on the mana that Hoogland had in play last game, wouldn't surprise me for Costa to try to go for the cheap wound with Blood Moon.
Well, there are the options there for both players, some pretty good ones to be sure. Interesting game 1 there, though. You see the back and forth that's going to take place on someone's end step.
So, you know, you got to see both sides of it right there. Hoogland, I think, on the balance, plays the flash game a little bit better. His deck is better equipped to sneak threats into play at instant speed and to play cheap counterspell battles. The other side of it is Costa can allow Hoogland to do some of that stuff and still win the game, because when Costa plays the flash game, the game ends on the spot. When Hoogland's doing it, he takes 3, 4, 5 turns to close the game out.
Well, folks, as these players do shuffle up here for game number 2, Jeff Hoogland will be on the play. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about Star City Games Game Night, the very popular promotion in December. You can get the reindeers that we're wearing on our lapels, and Well, January, February, we got some new stuff for you.
New kits every month. You can over StarCityGames.com/game night for more information. If you're a store owner, contact your Star City Games in-store play representative. New kits come out every month. Stores can set up game out however they want to, just to get players in their store on a regular basis for some fun and friendly Magic. This is the kit you're playing for now. In December, the Reindeer. We have our next 2 kits announced. January will be Grizzly Brand, and February will be Magus of the Moo. So again, StarCityGames.com/game night for more information. Store owners, contact your in-store play representative to bring game night to your store. And Canadian store owners and players, we have changed the shipping rates. We are now just charging U.S. domestic shipping rates to send these kits to you. So if you have not brought game night to your local store because of the shipping rates, again, StarCityGames.com/game night for more information, or contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
We're getting ready here for game number 2 between Jeff Hoogland and Matt Costa. Steam Vents is where Jeff did start. For Matt, it's a basic island off of Misty Rainforest. Perhaps we'll see a Serum Visions here in just a moment. The best card manipulation spell here for the blue decks as far as cantripping is concerned. So Costa will draw a card and then he'll get to scry 2. We'll see where he goes from here. Looks like he's going to split the difference with the scry as we head back Jeff's way. Jeff with a Mutavault. Now there's a copy of Spellskite. We're going to head back Costa's way. Costa with a Scalding Tarn. I'll pass the turn back over to Jeff. A Lightning Bolt to draw. Land number 3 is a Polluted Delta. For Costa, his 3rd land's a Desolate Lighthouse. We saw him play 2 of those in game 1.
And that's a big tool for Costa in this kind of matchup. Hoogland doesn't really have an analog for it. He does have his creature lands, but those are risky things to invest mana into, because then it gives an opportunity for Costa to assemble the combo with Hoogland having less mana to defend himself. Desolate Lighthouse is a great way for Costa to sculpt his draws on turns where he has mana left over.
A basic island here for Matt. Jeff's going to sacrifice his fetch and get a Watery Grave, so black mana online.
This, to me, would send off a bit of an alarm if I'm in Hoogland's position, if Costa is fetching up 2 islands in a row. To me, this smells a little bit like a Blood Moon could be coming.
Hoogland will draw. Scalding Tarn. Simply pass the turn back over to Costa. Costa with a Steam Fence untapped real fast. Now that could just be him playing it and passing the turn for the Lighthouse, and it looks like it is. Mutavault there for Jeff. He'll pass the turn back.
Interesting that Costa elected not to use the Lighthouse there. I think at this point in the game, just playing a little bit of draw go and not wanting to give Jeff an opportunity to sneak something into play.
Leads me to believe his hand's probably pretty good too. Jeff going to miss a land drop. He'll be the first player to do it here.
And missing a land drop in these kind of matchups, especially when Jeff's interaction, cards like Mana Leak and Is It Charm, cards get a lot worse very fast. This is an early edge for Costa.
It's a Polluted Delta there from Jeff off the top. Costa's going to activate his Desolate Lighthouse. Time for him to draw and discard. Again, going to try to sculpt the perfect hand. Going to discard a copy of Lightning Bolt. Here's a Scion of Uno while Costa's shields are down. Costa will sacrifice this Misty Rainforest and dig out a land. He'll go with a basic island.
And it wouldn't surprise me if Costa had Blood Moon in hand. If he picks a battle here over the Scion, probably doesn't even care if it resolves or not, but just to get Hoogland to commit mana right now, trying to force this through and then possibly end the game on the spot with the Blood Moon.
Well, there's a remand, so he's trying to force it through, is Jeff, because he's going to sacrifice a land. See what's going to come next here for him. It's a Mana Leak. So it looks like Scion's in. Costa will draw. Picked up a copy of Cryptic Command. There's a Stomping Ground. Doesn't look like Costa has a Blood Moon in hand at this point. He'll just pass the turn back over to Jeff. Jeff will draw. Blood Crypt will enter the battlefield untapped. Now it looks like Mutavault's going to get fired up. Looking to get a little aggressive.
3/3.
Yeah, I mean, it costs already at 13.
It's Fairy.
Yeah.
Among every other creature type.
Electrolyze, going to go after Spellskite and Scion. So that means that Jeff wouldn't be able to redirect it. Here's a negate from Jeff, however. Let's see what Matt has.
Yeah, Spellsky says single target.
Yep. There's a negate on the negate. So a little counter war here. Jeff looking at a copy of Izzet-Charm, but Costa's got the 2 mana necessary to pay.
And you can see the difference between Mutavault and Desolate Lighthouse in this kind of matchup. Hoogland has to use mana on his main phase to get something out of Mutavault, and Costa can wait until the end of Hoogland's turn. And in this kind of matchup, investing mana on your own turn always comes with a huge risk.
Serum Vision's here for Matt. He'll draw a card. Now it's time to scry 2. Split the difference with the scry. Play a Sulfur Falls, pass the turn back over to Hoogland. Scalding Tarn. Fire up Mutavault. Come across here for 2. Will attacking for 2 be enough, I think, is the question. It's not the fastest clock in the world. Here's a Snapcaster Mage. Maybe try to blow this plan up.
Hoogland really leaning on that Spellsky right now. I don't think he has much left in his hand to defend himself against the combo.
Looks like Costa's going to target and Electrolyze off the Snapcaster Mage. Follow up here for Jeff. Looks like it might be Koligan's command, and it is. Looks like he might want to get back the Scion of Una, along with trying to kill the Snapcaster Mage. And again, this is with the targeting of Snapcaster Mage on the stack. Blocks have not been declared yet, of course. Let's see what this is going to be from Costa. Looks like it's going to be a copy of Cryptic Command. And this will give Jeff a way to use that Izzet-Charm now.
Yeah, he's got to feel pretty good about this. It was looking like Izzet-Charm was falling off a cliff here.
Yeah, it's not going to get the job done against Spell Snare. Costa looks like he's got all the tools right now, but that's what Desolate Lighthouse will afford you.
Yep. And Hoogland's got some funkier cards in his deck. I mean, he's got to try to make hay with creatures and softer counter spells. He's had a Lightning Bolt in his hand the whole game that really hasn't been able to do very much. Costa with Desolate Lighthouse and just smoother control cards. Yes, he's taking some hits, but his hand seems a lot more flexible than Hoogland's right now.
After the dust settles, Mutavault down. And now we head back Costa's way. Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster Mage in hand. He'll just pass the turn back after drawing a card. Jeff looks like he's going to go to his other Mutavault. Serve in for 2 with this one. Remember, Lightning Bolt not a great option here. Snapcaster Mage isn't bad, though.
And Hoogland down to just Remand and Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt before blockers. Costa targeting Electrolyze again with the Snapcaster Mage. But Jeff running out of resources quickly here.
Yep. And Costa with that Lighthouse, which puts a lot of pressure on Jeff to be the one trying to end the game quickly, because over a long timeline, Costa's going to be able to set up the perfect hand.
Costa gonna target Spellsky and Mutavault yet again with Electrolyze. Now he'll draw a card. Picked up another copy of Lightning Bolt. Now he can mow down that Spellsky if he wants to. Yep, that's exactly what that bolt's gonna do. It's already got a damage on it. So that's down. And now we're gonna head back Matt's way. He'll draw a card. He's in great position now. Deceiver Exarch was the draw. Hoogland gonna fire up a Mutavault. Come across here. Costa gonna try Deceiver Exarch. There's a remand from Jeff. I think more than anything, he just needs a new card.
Yeah, usually the remand in a spot where someone's trying to force through a spell that isn't particularly good and they can recast means someone's just on the hunt for more action.
And there you see Costa with a play that you see a lot from blue decks, which is remand my own spell. That means your remand does nothing. I get to draw a card. Now I get to recast my spell. Deceiver Exarch is in. Now the question is, does he have Splinter Twin or does he even need it at this point? It's just going to pass the turn back. Hoogland's going to need a heck of a set of draw steps here. For Costa, we head back his way. He's going to activate the Lighthouse on Hoogland's end step, discarding a Steam Vents because, well, he's got plenty of lands to work with.
Now just trying to find the right combo pieces. You know, the Splinter Twin's the last piece of the puzzle here. And in the meantime, you can just be on the hunt for counter spells, removal.
Jeff's going to sacrifice 2 fetch lands here. Thin the deck out a little bit of lands. Get 2 islands.
See Costa not making a move with the Blood Moon here. Jeff with the opportunity to get a bunch of islands into play. And Costa has the best non-basic land in play in Desolate Lighthouse right now. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was just the first thing looted away with the Lighthouse at the end of Hoogland's turn.
I believe it's time for Jeff to draw, though we have stopped play here. I think he may have... Okay, there we go. Just want to make sure he is correct that it is his turn. Pass the turn back over to Costa. Costa's going to activate that Lighthouse yet again. Discard a Sulfur Falls. Here's a Vendilion Click. Not a difficult card for Costa to answer right now.
Yeah, a lot of Lightning Bolts in his hand.
I believe there's also a Rending Volley in hand, too. Yep, there is Rending Volley. Let's shoot that down. Costa will show the grip. Bolt, Blood Moon. Looks like a couple of lands. But for Costa, that Lighthouse can turn those lands into real cards.
Yeah, that's really the key of this game right now is neither player has much going on. I think Costa's draw steps are just better in the spot in a general sense because of all the soft counters that are in Hoogland's deck. And Costa has the Lighthouse to improve his bad draws.
Spell Pierce the draw here for Matt. He'll play a Sulfur Fall, simply pass the turn back over to Jeff. Jeff will take a draw step here. Mutavault, kick it over. Costa can activate that Lighthouse again. Discard a land, draw a new card. Keranos the plan now. And for me, I'd be surprised if all 4 Splitter Twins are left in the deck. There's probably some number that's not 4 to be able to threaten the kill, but I'm not surprised to see him go to Keranos.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, protracted battle. Costa has a lot of removal to sideboard into to prevent Hoogland from getting any easy wins. And Keranos is a much simpler way to try to force through the win rather than trying to assemble the combo and play into a variety of counterspells.
But one thing we've seen with Costa so much when he plays blue decks, and we don't see him a ton on the SCG Tour, but we've covered him in the Grand Prix that we've done here with SCG Live, and a decent enough amount on the SCG Tour to know that with him, when he plays blue strategies, very patient.
Yeah, and he knows that he has a big advantage the longer the game goes on because of Desolate Lighthouse. So you're not going to see him make any sort of impatient move.
Snapcaster Mage looks like it wants to recast Kolaghan's command. We'll see if this resolves. Also for Costa, he's got a copy of his, Teferi, Mage of Zalfir in hand, which is a heck of a card for anyone to try to beat, especially in these blue mirrors.
Yeah, just one copy in the sideboard. Sometimes we see it paired with Cavern Souls. It looks like Costa's leading on his Desolate Lighthouses as colorless lands of choice.
He's going to try Teferi right now. And for those of you who were not around during the time of this card, this was the mirror breaker as far as blue's concerned.
It was also busted against non-blue decks.
Yeah, it's just a really good card. And now Costa is untapping. And if he's got the combo, this game is over because there's nothing Jeff can do about it. For now, Teferi is just attacking. Over to Hoogland, we're going to go. Your counter spells are useless now. Here's an attempt at Spell Skite. You can see with the body language here from Jeff, he knows he's in bad shape.
Teferi is one of the worst cards that his deck can play against once the game goes on for long enough.
Pass the turn back. You want to see something cool? How about a Keranos on the end step that you can't do anything about? It is a creature after all. And now activate the Lighthouse too.
And we're actually close to fulfilling the devotion requirement.
I've never seen it attack before in Twin, but we are very close actually. Grim Lavamancer.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
That's mana symbol number 7.
Oh yeah. Gonna target the Spell Skite there. Does Costa want to play it to turn on the Keranos? We'll see. Hard to say no, am I right? There's Grim Lavamancer. Lightning Bolt might be on the way too. There goes Spellskite. All aboard as here comes Gyarados into the red zone. And Costa's got a real stranglehold on this game now. He's got a copy of Counterflux in hand. Teferi and Gyarados going. Grim Lavamancer's going active soon. Don't know if there's a way out here for Jeff. He'll chump block for now. We're going to head over Jeff's way. He'll take a draw step here. He'll play a Mutavault, pass that turn back. Costa on the end step. Looks like he's going to go to the Lighthouse one more time. He'll draw and discard. Sulfur falls down. Now it's time for Matt to untap. Doesn't have to worry about anything but those Mutavaults. Jeff will extend the hand. Matt Costa going to win this match over Jeff Hoogland. 2-0. Blue-Red Twin will take care of Grixis Fairies, and it's a clinic there by Costa on how to play a Blue Mirror.
Well, I think that Hoogland might play a bit of a better flash game than Costa does, but Costa plays a much better draw-go game than Hoogland does. And with Hoogland not being able to assemble enough pressure in that game, just had a Spellskite and was passing for 4 or 5 turns. Costa with more reliable cards, more consistent cards, and multiple copies of Desolate Lighthouse is going to have a very big edge in those kind of games.